I mean, it's why we all wear gold teeth now. Worshipping
the
Letterman.
Juggletto.
Juggletto, yes.
Yeah. Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name's Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Balding.
I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroco brand Pheromones and cologne together at last. Attract the opposite sex. Attract the same sex. Attract some of the larger insects. Attract various interdimensional beings. Attract Mothman. Is there Mrs. Mothman? Find out with Monstroco Pheromone. Not for external application, it says.
Oh. Where do you put it?
Just as long as it's not on the outside. That seems to be the only indication on the bottle.
Inside my pee hole, then.
Yeah, Or you could slam it. You could mainline it right in the neck. Dart. You could probably freebase it, but I think the easiest way is going to be
drinking,
like eating or something is probably.
You could boof it.
What the kids call boofing. Yeah, you could butt chug it, but if you're gonna do that, you don't want to get any on the outside of your butt, because it will. The line between external and internal is so very fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if the inside of your butt is basically still the outside of your butt.
Look,
it is for a small bit.
Address all complaints to Monstroco, please. They're just a sponsor. Use those pheromones wisely. They seem to be pretty all over there. And again, no shade on Monstroco. They're an incredible company. Please don't hurt me. And just they seem to be pretty all over the map about what the pheromones do. It's definitely going to attract some things, many things, and they might not. Some of them you're probably gonna be stoked about, but then maybe you'll meet someone you like, and then here come the insects. Here's that buzzing again. Mothman has caught a smell of the pheromones and is hurtling towards you from 72 dimensions to the parallel.
Well, stay off the bridge, everyone.
Mm-hmm. But buy the product, please, and thank you for your support. How's everybody doing?
Oh, good. Staying off bridges.
Staying off the bridge.
Trying not to be victim of any Mothman in my area.
I would like this month's deep dive to be Mothman. I think that we quite often, when I ask people they want to know more about paranormal wise, they go Mothman. What's the deal with Mothman?
Back when we were young,
we
did a deep dive of Mothman, but that episode's gone.
I mean, we deep dove, but I don't know the new one heard it.
Yeah, truly. And quite frankly, Mothman has dove even deeper into us since then. So I think we're new people. We have more insights.
He's right up inside us, for sure.
So I think at the end of the month,
intravenous Mothman.
End of the month,
he's a Monstroco product that we've been taking.
Monstroco brand Mothman, intravenous use only. I think we should do that because there are so many weird layers to the Mothman, the creature itself, the sightings, the prophecies, as it were, the Indrid Cold, who's the strange, to me, the most fascinating part about it.
Indrid Cold keeps showing up.
Indrid Cold
has been seen recently.
Indrid Cold is a weird kind of parallel figure to the Mothman situation, who is this character who appeared and gave people like weird phone calls and seemed to be like trying to warn people maybe about what was going to happen, or trying to warn people about maybe the Mothman. I don't know. It's weird.
So bizarre.
It's weird. We'll do it. We'll talk about it.
Check out the Mothman prophecies.
It's great. People talk shit because it's silly, but it's great. It's Richard.
But that is a kind of good reenactment of the Mothman encounter, except for whatever reason, less people die in their tale.
Well, listen, they were already. Do you think? Okay, I think that maybe at the time a lower body count was a better selling point for a thriller. They were like, It's not going to be a bloody carnage thing, whereas these days we would be like, yeah, show the grit, show the nast, get a fucking R rating on this Mothman. I want to see Indrid Cold's dick. Get it out.
End of the month, we're gonna do some Mothman, and it goes so much deeper than what we just said. You think that's the whole tale of Mothman? You're wrong.
As Nate says, it's still going today, but we're not going to talk about that because we're already getting off on a tangent here. Can I go first? I have 50 cryptids of America I want to tell you guys about.
Jordan, if you give us 5 stars on our Apple podcast right now.
I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to give you 5 stars.
Then you can go first.
Click. There's 1. Here's 2. Do you have to add them individually?
Yeah.
Here's 3. And I'm going to skip 4. I'm going to go right to 5 stars. Bang.
No, don't skip 4.
Oh, shit. Oh, no, I already submitted it.
It's all right.
All right. Well,
don't know.
I guess we'll see you from Universe C.
Oh, no, the radar's overheating. Don't skip star 4.
Anyway, give us a 5-star review if you could. It helps other people find the podcast.
Please do. That would be incredible. I was looking up. So I heard about a cryptid that is basically a dolphin in a tree.
In Brazil?
All right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I have very small familiarity with it. Yes.
So this is the Grampus. And it's actually from England, though I wouldn't be surprised if there is a feral population in Brazil. And in learning about the Grampus, the problem with the Grampus is there's just not a lot of information. It really sounds like something from a fucking Tales from the Dark Side or something.
Also, I would have guessed that it was maybe the Dolph Man.
Yeah. God, that's so good.
Man.
Dolph Lundgren.
Here's the problem. We wanted a Breton last name, and they're giving us an Anglo-Saxon last name.
Yeah.
We don't want this Grampus. We want Dolph Man.
Dolph Man. But in trying to find some more research about the Grampus, which is a sparsely studied cryptid, if you have any stories about encounters specifically, I would love to hear them.
We know we have a larger UK audience. If you seriously know about the Grampus, hit us up on our Twitter.
I would love to hear about the Grampus, even Grampus imagery. If you find a churchyard we'll talk about it. If you find it, listen, this is the description of the Grampus. The Grampus is a dolphin-like creature found living in a yew tree in a churchyard in Highclere in Hampshire County in England. The Grampus is
they've located it pretty specifically.
The Grampus is described as a dolphin-like creature that makes wheezing and guttural noises, scaring people. People believed the Grampus to be an evil spirit, so they asked a priest to exorcise it, and the priest banished it to the Red Sea for 1,000 years before it came back. There is even a phrase, puffing like a Grampus, inspired by this creature.
I would like to throw this out there to all of our UK listeners. Have you ever heard that term?
Bring us the Grampus.
Bring us the Grampus. We've done you the favor of reporting on some ghosts and stuff in your area. Now bring us the Grampus.
Bring us the Grampus, preferably alive. A slice of the werewolf fortune for a live Grampus. But the point being, in trying to find more information about the Grampus, which I've wanted to talk about for fucking 4 episodes now, I was drawn to the LucasHowardGroup.com page. I don't know what the Lucas Howard Group is, but apparently they are at least partially in the building, or at least partially in the business of writing amazing articles with titles like 50 Cryptids of America.
Should I start doing that?
I'm gonna rattle them off. Yeah. I mean, we gotta go toe to toe with the Lucas Howard Group at this
All right,
point.
get ready for some listicles from Werewolf Radar. No paywall. We are the only non-paywalled news source in America soon.
I cannot.
Okay, and if we're not going to do a paywall, you can only receive this knowledge if you pay us to stop the beast that you're trying to.
The price for that service is
okay. This is
$70.
This is for the radar meetings when we get called in at 3 a.m. every morning.
right, I'm gonna try to do this in 10 minutes because that's when my ease dude is supposed to get here. And I've done a little digging. Apparently, the Lucas Howard Group is a realtor group that on the side is concerned with cryptids. Okay, we're gonna do this alphabetically. We're gonna do this alphabetically by state, 50 of them, all 50 states. Alabama, the white fang. The white fang is said to be 7 or 8 feet tall, covered in thick white fur. Some accounts say it looks like a white lion. Meanwhile, the more outrageous say it looks like a white kangaroo with the head of a cat. This creature is known for its ability to move quickly, often running on all fours. Witnesses to the horrifying creature says it sounds like a woman screaming and smells like death.
Well, that's a cat.
Sounds like an albino lion to me.
Yep.
Anyway, Alaska, the Tizaruk. Tizaruk is a very mysterious creature. Most have only seen its head and neck, occasionally its tail. It can rise out of the water up to 8 feet high and is found in bays and rarely in the open ocean. Its head looks like a snake's and has a flippered tail. Sailors say you can attract this creature by tapping on the inside of boats.
Dude, is that an Alaskan Nessie of sorts?
This is very reminiscent of sea serpents from all around the world.
Yeah.
Nessie notwithstanding. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. I also like, there's something about that tapping on the inside of a boat that like I can see somebody's uncle being like, stop that tapping. Somebody's, Scottish uncle in Alaska.
Do you know what happens when you tap, boy?
Yeah. He'll summon the Tizaruk. Okay, next up, Arizona.
Takes his fake eye out and is like, this is what's going to happen.
Take my eye.
Uncle, I'm sorry.
Put it back in. The smell. Okay. Arizona, the Mogollon Monster. The Mogollon Monster, which we've heard of, is a Sasquatch-type creature reported to look like a man with long white hair and a matted beard that reached his knees. He doesn't wear any clothing and is instead covered in gray hair nearly all over.
I mean, this is just old Sasquatch.
This is old Sasquatch with patches of skin showing through. I bet it's a hiney. It's got to be a hiney.
Sasquatch.
That is the most hilarious thing. The hiney is the most hilarious thing to be bald.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
On the
and of course a Friar Tuck bald spot with the hiney showing.
Yes. Yep. Okay. I'll draw it. Fine. I'll draw it. Reports say it has long, sharp claws and that are used to climb up cliff faces. It often uses a club as well, brandishing it at people who stray too far off the beaten path. This sounds like a hermit.
Again, real old man stuff.
Real old man vibes.
Like
real old.
Yeah.
Get out of my swamp.
Coming out with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
That could be what they're doing anyway. We've heard the Ron Moorhead tapes.
Oh, yeah.
And Bigfoot definitely, if that is Bigfoot in those tapes, has the ability of language. And he could be screaming, get off of my property, kids.
And we do specifically know that they like to knock wood, if you know what I mean. They like to, they get big clubs and hit them against trees, right?
Yeah, it is possible, I suppose, that all Bigfoots are just like a whole line of hermits, like Homo sapien,
hermits on hermits,
loneliness or something.
Homo solo,
yeah,
solo sapien, I guess is what it would be.
And that's what Chewbacca was.
Fuck yeah. But he broke loose. He was like, fuck this. I want a friend. I want him to be in space. Okay. Next up, Arkansas, the Fook Monster. Another Sasquatch-like creature is the Fook Monster, first seen in Fook, Arkansas, 1946. You'll be astonished how many of these are Bigfoot. Everybody sees Bigfoot. Bigfoot is real, frankly. It isn't seen often and likes to stay in the bogs and creeks in the woods of Arkansas. Only tracks and claw marks have been recovered. The footprints are said to be 17 inches long and 7 inches wide, ladies. California, the Dark Watchers. I remember I did a segment on the Dark Watchers. Dark Watchers.
These are the giant shadow ghosts, yeah?
Yes. human-like creatures who stand on the hills, ridges, and peaks of the Santa Lucia Mountains.
They
People
also
who've-
have an equivalent in Scotland. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, the Gray Man.
In
I
the
believe they
gray,
call
yeah.
them. Those who wander into the mountains, though they are not aggressive, people will see them watching them. They are most often spotted around twilight and are usually seen staring upwards toward the sky while staring atop the mountains. Interesting. They also call them los
Los hombre gris.
something
Obscuros. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah,
remember right now.
oscuros.
I'm sorry. Tweet at us.
Oscuros would be obscure.
Colorado. Yeah. Colorado. What do you think the Colorado one is?
Me naked with a lot of mud on my body, and I go woogly woogly.
No, that's mentioned here.
Insanely, that's exactly what I thought it was.
Naked
too.
Roger going woogly woogly is in fact mentioned
Covered
here,
in
but it's
mud.
not for Colorado. Weirdly,
Oh yeah, that's right.
a
different life.
Colorado.
More of a Cheyenne situation.
Colorado. See, it happened in Colorado, but they only heard about it. It really caught on in Cheyenne. The Colorado one has actually been getting a lot of heat recently. I've been seeing this fella around. Colorado's the Slide Rock Bolter.
Dude.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah, my friend.
One of the
at
best
work-
sliders.
My friend at work was all like, I heard about a new cryptid recently, and I was all
Yeah,
like,
bro.
hit me with it. And it was
Yeah,
like,
bro.
I don't know, it was like the rock sliding thing. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know about the rock slider.
Yeah. They
I'd like to tell that person that you work with that ain't new.
It's as old as the dirt, fella.
Didn't we recently do it in our fearsome creatures?
We did. It
Yes.
falls into
Fearsome
the
creatures
category
episode.
of a fearsome critter. If you go back in the catalog, you will find us detailing some more of those. That fearsome critters are generally considered the kind of mythical beasts that frontiersmen and people of the American West came up with to populate an already terrifying land with
Episode.
even more monsters.
Episode 196, Fearsome
Yeah.
Critters, Bible Creatures, and Tips for Reading the Akashic Records.
What an episode. What an app. So Colorado's Side Rock Bolter is an enormous creature that is somewhat fish-like. Reports say it has a split tail with no legs and two giant hooks at the end of each tail fin. These hooks are used to dig into the side of a mountain so the monster can wait for another victim. The top of its body is often mistaken for boulders, letting it camouflage into the rocky mountainside easily. It will wait for days for an animal or an unsuspecting tourist to walk through its path. This is Naked Roger covered in mud. Woogly woogly down the path. Here he comes. When it finally does happen, the creature is said to lift its tail, release the hooks that keep it on the cliffs, and hurtle towards its prey. They spelled hurdle wrong. Shout out Lucas Howard Group.
Wait, did they spell it Hudd?
No, Hurdle, like the sport.
Oh,
Or the,
yeah.
tribulation. These creatures are so large, that the speed they travel and the size of their wide mouths make it nearly impossible to avoid. I heard a thing that people, like, they think that this came from people seeing their friends get killed by avalanches and rock slides and landslides, and they were just like, it was like an animal. Just
Dude, it
Well,
would
I mean-
be.
yeah.
What a good way to do re-identify as a boulder a thing no one ever runs away from.
And no offense to the Appalachian Mountains or the
True.
Allegheny Mountains, but your mountains don't have the sheer cliffs ours
No.
do.
Yeah.
That shit is hills, my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
That is
So, like,
that is a really good point, though, Nate.
When we have mountain slides, like the whole cliff face comes off, and I
Yeah,
can see it
it-
very much going like it wasn't like an animal. It
it
moved this
thrashes
once.
your shit.
It ate
We
Fred.
occasionally can't travel to other parts of the state.
Because the mountains got angry. Yeah, that happens. Okay, we're
That
gonna
happens
move
still
on.
to this day. We have nets to stop the rock sliders now.
Brett Hiker has a very funny joke about specifically narrowly escaping a boulder the size of his car crashing into the road in front of him, and a guy pulled up and he's like, "You get ya?" And he's like, no, because I'm still alive. That's not, this rock doesn't ding your car. It dings the mantle of the earth, sir.
Yeah, like still the Rocky Mountains are a place of death.
Yeah. Okay. So enough. You know, we're just whipping it out here. We're bragging about our rocks, and we come visit. You'll see. Well, I'm going to try to blaze through these because there's a lot of them. But we're going to have to make some stops here.
Go.
We're going to have to make some stops, frankly, because the next one is the Connecticut melon heads, and you got to know at least a little bit.
I love the melon heads.
Yeah, me too. The melon heads.
Also, an episode about those. Go back into the archives.
Yep. Very similar to those that reside in Michigan. Some say they might travel. They are small humanoids with oversized heads, and they rarely come out from hiding. They survive by eating small animals, stray cats, and you guessed it, human flesh, usually the flesh of teenagers. Someone believe that they are experiments gone wrong or escapees from an insane asylum.
I was going to say, it's possible they're mutants made by a rogue doctor.
I think that it's the Dover Demon. Same thing. Next up, Delaware. Selbyville Swamp Monster. It's a swamp monster, looks like Bigfoot, lives in Selbyville Swamp. Next up, Florida, the skunk ape. It's a Bigfoot. Similar to Bigfoot, it smells really bad. People have seen it. They say it's about the size of a man. Looks more like an ape than Bigfoot usually. More like a strange, kind of shadowy orangutan figure. That's Florida for you, right? Maybe Florida man has just been the skunk ape.
This whole time.
It would line up when they're like, Florida man hurls feces at tourists, eats sneaker, plays on tire swing, then just disappears into the jungle. That would explain it. Okay. Next up, Georgia, the Atmahaha.
Nope. You hit us with it.
We've talked about the Atmahaha briefly. It's a very interesting creature, first seen by the Tama, a Native American tribe in Georgia. According to this tribe, the creature has a sturgeon-like body, including a bony ridge on its top, front flippers, no back limbs. It swims like a dolphin, has the snout of a crocodile. It is said to be gray in color with a whitish yellow underbelly.
Sounds like a badass sturgeon.
I was going to say it seems easily avoidable by not going to Georgia.
I mean, that's what you would think it would be easy to avoid getting swallowed by a whale by living in Colorado, but the Slide Rock Boulder.
And yet all of us have.
I spent 6th grade in the belly of a whale. That's where I learned how to carve. That's where I learned scrimshaw. Okay, next up, Hawaii. The Menehuna we've talked about. The Menehuna is supposedly a race of pygmy people. I would also like to say that for no reason, there's a picture of an octopus tentacles between these two states. Georgia, which is the Atmahaha, which is a dolphin crocodile that sounds very much like some of the plesiosaur crocodile snouted dinosaurs that you would maybe see in like a paleontology book or something, which is interesting to me. And Hawaii, the Menehune, which are a supposed race of pygmy people, for some reason there's a picture of an octopus between two of them. Those two articles. Anyway, it is said they live deep in the forests, the Menehune, and the valleys of Hawaiian Islands. Their favorite food is said to be bananas and fish. These creatures don't stand more than 2 to 3 feet tall. It is said that these small people built temples, heiau, fish ponds, temples are heiau, fish ponds, roads, canoes, and houses. Some of the structures still exist, and the craftsmanship is evident. They are said to have lived in Hawaii before the settlers arrived from Polynesia many centuries ago. So maybe you could Google Menehune structures and share it in the listen along if somebody.
Interesting.
Next up, we've got from Idaho, Charlie, which is a reptile-like sea serpent, much like the Loch Ness Monster, said to live in the deep waters of Payette Lake near McCall, Idaho. Many people say it is between 30 and 40 feet long, and when diving, leaves a wake similar to a motorboat.
All right. Actually, Charlie, I used to summer in McCall. Charlie's just a lady that lives in McCall.
She needs your help. She's drowning. She's not a strong swimmer. Illinois, the Enfield Horror. We remember this one. The Enfield Horror is said to have 3 legs, a short little body, 2 little short arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. It stands 4.5 feet tall, is grayish colored. The beast hisses, not unlike a wildcat, and can seemingly cover 50 feet in 3 leaps.
As big as flashlights is maybe one of the funniest descriptors.
Indiana, the beast of Busco.
Usually not referring to eyes.
The beast of Busco in Indiana is found near Churubusco, Indiana. It was first seen in 1898, more recently in 1948. Many believe it to be a gigantic snapping turtle or an alligator snapping turtle, possibly weighing as much as 500 pounds.
Oh,
that's an Andre the Giant, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Even if this snapping turtle was just that, a turtle, it would be at least 50 years old, quite near the end of its life for turtles that size. How much should Andre the Giant weigh?
I say 350.
I say 350. So that's like an Andre and a half.
No, he's got to be at least 2,000 pounds.
Iowa, the Van Meter monster. The Van Meter monster was first seen in October 1903. Several people say they saw a half animal, half human, winged creature that terrorized some of the town's residents for several nights. The beast is said to have
definitely a pterodactyl.
Large bat-like wings, leaves a terrible stench wherever it goes, and even stranger, fires beams of light from its forehead.
Ugh.
That sounds like a psychic type Pokemon.
We covered this. It's a scary horned monster that has a laser that also stinks. It stunk several people not to death, but to massive sickness.
Holy shit.
It did. I remember.
Brutal. Next up, Kansas, Sinkhole Sam. Sinkhole Sam is said to inhabit a portion of Inman Lake in Kansas known as the Sinkhole. Some believe it is a prehistoric creature that lived in flooded underground caverns that somehow led into the lake. The first sighting of the beast came when 2 men fishing at night, having a relationship.
We all get it.
As best friends and nothing more.
Yeah, going fishing again all weekend.
Look, there's only one surefire way to find Sinkhole Sam.
There's only one. There's only one surefire way to have a cryptid encounter, and that's to also be having a homosexual relationship that you're keeping secret from your family, probably. The first sighting of the beast came from these 2 men. They saw the creature, said it was 15 feet in length and round as an automobile tire. That's the only description we get. Sounds like a worm.
Yeah, kind of.
Kentucky, the Kelly Little Green Men. They are little green men with oversized heads, long arms, with talons for fingers. Said they glowed with a yellowish light. The green men were these are the Hopkinsville goblins. They terrorized those gin-sodden hillbillies up and down a day and a night. Louisiana, the Rougarou, French werewolf, lives in the swamps, Cajun folklore. Watch out. Maine, the Spectre Moose. The Spectre Moose is an extremely large white moose that was first seen in Lobster Lake. Later, it was seen near Swordnaholt Lake. That is the strangest word I've ever seen in my life.
It sounded like it.
Sour, Sourdna, Swordna Hunnelt.
It's probably Swordna
Lake.
Summer Lake. It means the summer. That's what they call it in Maine.
A hunter fired several slugs into the animal without any apparent effect except making it angry. This hunter later remarked that the moose weighed near a ton. It was as tall as a camel. Gilman Brown of West Newbury, Massachusetts, once got close enough to the moose on the Roach River to count 22 points on one side of his antlers. 22
That's fucking
point
huge
antler. We're talking a normal moose has 8 to 12, they say here. Spectrum moose is white or light gray in coloring, stands 10 to 15 feet tall, that weighs nearly 2,500 pounds, as an immense set of antler that stretches 12 feet across. In comparison, an average male moose weighs maybe 800 to 900 pounds, about 6 feet tall.
That's insane.
Yeah. So if you kill this thing, you'll get a sweet strength scaling weapon that has a very powerful L2 attack. Apparently.
It's slow, but it's deadly.
But it'll devastate them. Yeah.
Yeah. So one hit kill.
We got to talk about the Spectre Moose once a different episode. One hit kill, absolutely. Maryland, Chessie. Chessie is the Nessie of Chesapeake Bay. That's all you need to know. Massachusetts, the Dover Demon. Teen Sawn, might be melon heads. Same creature, who knows? Orange, travels on all fours. There was a whole spat. You could say a flap happened where people saw the Dover Demon. Michigan, the Michigan Dog Man. We know about him. It's like a werewolf, like a Bigfoot, much scarier, much more aggressive. The Dog Man is out for blood.
There's a Stephen King book about it.
Hangs around railroads. Avoid those.
Yeah. There's
bridges
a song
in general.
Look up the Song of the Dog Man on YouTube. It's weird. Minnesota, the Wendigo. We know about the Wendigo. This is more of a folk tale than a cryptid, I would say, an Ojibwa legend regarding cannibalism and the spirit of cannibalism that is said to inhabit people who feed on the flesh of their fellow men and women.
Also, greed. The spirit attached to greed.
Sure. Hoarding supplies, hoarding money, things of this nature can make you susceptible to being possessed by the spirit, which will then cause you to perform cannibalistic acts, which will then cause you to run into the woods and become a horrible, elongated creature. Is often described as skeletal, deformed, taller than trees, with a lipless mouth and jagged teeth. I've also heard it described as the Wendigo is so thin that it can turn sideways and be invisible. Very scary.
They're portrayed in the video game Until Dawn.
Yeah, it's just fucked
pretty
up.
Neat.
Next up, Mississippi, the Pascagoula River Aliens. Pascagoula River Aliens. It does sound like a movie. It sounds like a 90s like river romp.
There's like a chick in the bikini who's all like, "Oh no, it's coming undone."
Yep. And the aliens are like, "Whoa, enhance," with their computer or whatever. The people were fishing on the river. These two pals, clearly secret lovers. The aliens came down to these two men and took them into their craft. This is maybe the one that started our definition of this as a lover's tryst. Most alien abductions are like, aliens took us. That's why we were gone for 3 days at a cottage that we both picked out and is our favorite.
It was the spot where we met.
Yeah. Aliens came down. Creatures were bulky, had long fingers. After the events in the craft word spread about the aliens and sent people into a frenzy. I think this might be the one where they tried to trap the guys by like leaving a thing running. When the cops left the room, they were like, "Let's see if they talk about."
Yeah, this is aren't they like on? Isn't there audio or something?
Yeah, and the audio was literally just them like, "Holy fuck, can you believe that happened?" And then they revealed more details. They were like remembering things. They were like, "Oh my god, do you remember the blah?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then this, it was crazy. Next up, Missouri.
It sounded way less like gay sex than I would have expected.
Yeah.
That's because it just like in a straight relationship, you get bored with the person you're having sex with very quickly.
And you gotta get up in a craft every once in a while.
Yep, you gotta go up to them stars.
Look, sometimes you gotta bring in a third party, and that third party is an alien. Missouri, Momo. Momo is a local legend similar to Bigfoot. The name Momo is short for Missouri Monster. Seems like it should be Mimo, but whatever. And it is reported to stand about 7 feet tall, have a large pumpkin-shaped head with a very furry body, often in the color black. And what a weird way of saying that. And hair covering the eyes. Some even say it has a terrible odor and eats dogs. We're about halfway through. Should we stop here and pick it up next week?
I think so.
No, I think swing for the fences.
You think swing for the fences? All right, that's
All right.
one vote against each. I'm going with
we had 10 minutes in the middle where we weren't actually doing
That's
anything.
true.
So.
Okay. Montana, the Shunkawarakin. We know this one. Is described as having, it is like a wolf with high shoulders and a back that is sloped downward like a hyena. Several Native American indigenous tribes in the region called the creature Shunkawarakin, which translates into carrying off dogs, or sometimes dog eater, dog stealer, because that's what it would do. White settlers encountered it in the 1880s in the Madison River Valley, apparently. Nebraska Alkali Lake Monster. Nebraska Alkali Lake Monster resides in a lake known as, you guessed it, Walgren Lake, near Hay Springs in northwestern Nebraska. Reports say that this creature is a terrifying aquatic animal said to be anywhere from 40 to 100 feet in length. Somewhat resembling an alligator, some depictions give the monster 4 legs, while others say it has 2 front legs and a flipper in the back, almost like that one from...
Do you remember, listener?
The
Alabama?
Yeah.
It was early.
Yeah, one of the other ones. Anyway, moving along.
That is insane, though. That
is well.
We have this lake that I'm going to say is probably not that big. It has a 100-foot-long gator monster.
Yeah. Other people say it looks like a Loch Ness monster. Still others say it has a horn between its head or between its eyes. Nevada, Tahoe Tessie. Tahoe Tessie is a snake-like being that surfaces to the surface of Lake Tahoe. Accounts say that the creature can be 20 feet long, with the head said to be extremely small. There are a few accounts of anyone actually seeing the cranium of this massive creature, as it's said to move in an up and down fashion, unlike a snake that moves from side to side.
I've never seen the top of its head.
New Hampshire.
When I was a child, I had a T-shirt with Tahoe Tessie on it.
Oh, nice. I would like one of those today. Now, in fact, gotta go. New Hampshire, the Wood Devils. Wood Devils are either a single Bigfoot or more likely a group of them that have roamed the woodlands and hills of Coos County. And they are Bigfoots. New Jersey, the Jersey Devil. Well, needs no introduction.
Indeed.
New Mexico, Territorns. The Territorn was once a living creature and is a distant relative of the California condor. Had a wingspan of around 12 feet and weighed about 30 pounds.
Damn.
In comparison, the bald eagle's wingspan ranges from 6 to 7.5 feet. 2 scientists discovered the first remains in the early 1900s and named the species in 1909. New Mexico legends say they are still around. Perhaps related to legends of the Thunderbird. Who knows?
Indeed.
That's more of a Northwest thing. New York. You know what they got? They got Champ.
Oh, there you're gonna say jazz.
Lake Champlain's very own Nessie wannabe. That's right, I said it. Tweet at us. North Carolina, the Beast of Bladdenboro. The Beast of Bladdenboro, cat-like creature said to be 3 feet long and 20 inches high, with a long tail and a cat's face, skulked off into the darkness after killing a few dogs. When they went to find the dogs' bodies, they'd been completely drained of blood.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird. This happened in 1953. North Dakota, Thunderbird. Thunderbird originates from Native American legends, so called because flapping of its powerful wings sounded like thunder. Lightning would shoot out of its eyes. It'd bring rain or storms. The bird was said to be so large that several legends tell of it picking up a whale in its talons, and then dropping it in the ocean, which caused earthquakes and flooding. Ohio.
That was the North Dakotan legend about a bird creature dropping a whale into the ocean and causing an earthquake.
Yeah,
these people don't know shit. As someone who was raised in California, they don't know shit about the ocean and how whales work.
I think that's how it worked. I think that's how whales work. As I understand it, a whale has within it a small man living in a boat waiting for his wooden boy to come rescue him.
No, that's how whales work.
Steers the whale.
And he's constantly hitting tectonic plates.
Yes.
Just
bang, bang. Causing earthquakes.
Fair enough. Floods. I don't know Wales. My bad.
Ohio.
My bad, North Dakota.
The Loveland Frogmen. Near. They're frogs. They're men. Watch out. It's Loveland.
A crazy frog.
Oklahoma. The Oklahoma octopus. We've been there. We have a picture of ourselves with our feet
Lake
in the
10
lake.
killer, baby.
Lake 10 killer, baby. Does not seem to be a harmful creature, just unique. Oregon, colossal clawed. Colossal clawed is said to be 15 to 40 feet long, with an 8-foot long neck, has a round tan body with a snake, horse, or camel-like head. Pick one. Was first reported in 1934 by L.A. Larson. Sounds like a cool dude.
He's definitely an artist, I think.
He was the first mate of the Columbia River lightship, and other crew members on the lightship also saw the creature and watched with binoculars. Pennsylvania, the squonk.
Did you say he was the first mate on that ship?
Yeah.
So he was employed on a ship. Okay.
Oh, no, not the ship. L.A. Larson was. Not the monster.
Okay. I thought there was a 100-foot-long monster.
No, that would make less sense.
I don't know. He could get to the mast quickly. He could get to the port quickly. He's everywhere on this boat.
The squonk is also a fearsome critter. It's said to be so ugly that it can cry itself into a puddle of tears because it's so sad and it stays hidden from human vision.
And one set of its feet are smaller than the other, so
That's
it just
walks in a circle.
slowly swirls itself into various pools.
Very dumb and terrible. Rhode Island, Vampire Mercy Brown. The Vampire Mercy Brown was a real woman who died in the 1890s. A family member of hers named Edwin Brown died of sickness, and in an attempt to find out what was killing him, Townsend dug up the deceased family members to see if they were tormenting him from beyond the grave. They decided that if the bodies of past relatives were relatively intact, then they were the ones responsible for his sickness. Unfortunately for Mercy, she was that person. Her body was found on her side. Her face appeared flush, and there was blood in her heart and in her veins. Doctors assured people that this was a normal level of decomposition, though many did not believe him and removed her heart for Edwin to consume.
Eat it, Edwin.
What?
Eat the heart, Edwin.
Yeah, they mixed the story up. Lucas Howard Group, if you've got some extra money laying around and you want somebody to punch this up, hit us up. They mixed this up a little bit because Edwin wasn't dead. He was dying. And they did cut out her heart and burn it into ashes. And then they fed him the ashes in a water of his own sister. And
a shake, if you will.
A shake. Yeah.
A sister shake.
It didn't work. He died later.
Sister shake didn't work?
Sister shake?
Yeah. Well, Sister Shake haunts a different state entirely. What a bummer that Rhode Island is our most famous vampire.
Yeah. South Carolina, lizard man of skateboard swamp. He's a lizard. He's a man. He's in the swamp. He'll attack your car. South Dakota, Takuhe. They were mostly seen in wide open areas, dragging dead prey behind him or simply staring at witnesses. The creature is said to be 8 feet tall and similar to Bigfoot. Many mysterious deaths linked to this monster. Those who have actually seen it and survived never mention anything about feeling threatened. It has been linked with mutilation of many farm animals, usually young calves. Usually would be found with their sexual organs removed and blood completely drained from the bodies. They inhabit a small stretch of woodlands at Sika Hollow. Sika itself means bad or evil and has been referred to and has referred to as such long before South Dakotans was settled by Europeans.
Okay.
Scary. The Takuhe, the murderous Bigfoot of
Takuhe causes a lot of suicide.
But what if I understand
native reservations?
Oh,
Tennessee wild man is a Bigfoot. Dark hair, might be ginger. Piercing red eyes. Has a disturbing war cry and horrible smell. Texas, the chupacabra. You know him, you love him, sucks guts.
Yeah, we were talking about that while you were gone. We were like, Chupacabra, it's got to be. And Nate was all like, Puerto Rico's not going to be here. And I was like, nah, Chupacabra's come stateside.
Yeah, they've claimed him pretty hard down in Texas. Utah, the Bear Lake Monster. The Bear Lake Monster is located, and you guessed it, Bear Lake, Utah, described as a creature with an unknown amount of legs. A head shaped like a walrus without tusks, or like an alligator's. It is said to be very awkward on land, but can swim extremely well. A Native American legend in the area describes a story between two lovers whom, upon being pursued by some of their fellow tribesmen, plunged into the lake and were changed by the Great Spirit into two large serpents.
Regular Romeo and Juliet.
Earlier, I said eyes the size of flashlights was my favorite descriptor. Unknown amount of legs is now
that's a new one. This almost sounds like it could be some kind of gigantic aquatic centipede or worm.
Yeah, they exist.
Vermont, the Northfield Pigman.
Nice.
This one's you, Pigman. The Northfield Pigman is a man-sized figure covered in white hair, and he had the facial features of a pig. More than one nighttime travelers claim to see the Pigman while driving their car along a deserted county road.
That's where I hang out.
Narrowly missing the front end of the vehicle. Virginia, the Snallygaster. Love a Snallygaster. These are very strange creatures. The word means quick spirit in German. It is often described as having half reptile, half bird-like features with a metal beak lined with razor-sharp teeth, occasionally octopus-like tentacles. To hunt, it swoops silently from the sky to pick up and carry off victims. Some stories claim that this monster sucked the blood of its victims. Others, that it just took them back to Loompa Land, where it and the vermicious Canid gobbled its bones. Washington, Bigfoot.
Oh.
He's tall. 6 to 9 feet. Man-like creature, muscular, bipedal. Odor, described as similar to rotten eggs or skunk, or maybe both. The foot of Bigfoot is often described as human-like, with a flat nose and visible lips. So you could kiss him.
Ooh.
Or her. The enormous footprints for which the creature is named are claimed to be as large as size 24 inches long and 8 inches wide. And you know what they say about a gal with big feet?
Big knees.
West Virginia, Mothman. Watch the Mothman prophecies. Listen to our deep dive later this month. Wisconsin, the Beast of Bray Road. It is a muscular, man-like werewolf that people are definitely drawing pictures of on DeviantArt right now. Wyoming, the final state on our list of 50 cryptids of America. Wyoming boasting the noble jackalope, folks.
What?
Come on, Wyoming. That's how you fucking cap this thing off.
A cross between a now extinct pygmy deer and a species of killer rabbit. An antlered species of rabbit are brownish in color, weigh between 3 and 5 pounds, and move with lightning speeds up to 90 miles an hour. My mom swore she saw one.
I do very much appreciate that they went hard with that.
Yeah.
It's easily the worst cryptid on the list.
But here's the thing.
It can go 90 miles an hour.
Here's the thing about the cryptid.
Yes.
Known as the jackalope. It might be real. There is a thing called lagomorphic papillomavirus, which hares get, which causes them to grow gigantic woody
They might have crazy mange.
Sure.
They could have an awful mange. And furthermore, my mother, known saint, claims to have seen one after seeing them.
That's how we know they are real.
She's definitely not lying about that. What I find ridiculous about the jackalope is that it comes from a deer and a breed of killer rabbits
You got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the rabbit's just out there like Benicula,
Yeah, when killer
but for
rabbits roam
flesh.
the land.
I just don't know the time. All right.
The whole reason that rabbits stopped killing is because deer were like, hey, you gotta be a little bit cooler out here.
Well, Nate, we're at an hour right now. Do you want to do a short segment? I finish up on a short segment.
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think that I have at minimum 15 minutes here that I have. So that might be too long.
That's fair. That's fair. My segment is a little bit longer as well, as my segment is about a scientist preparing for our best shot yet at identifying alien life. So maybe we just push our segments
I
off to
definitely want
next
to
week.
hear that.
It'll still be there next week. This week will just be a journey through American cryptids. And Nate and Jordan, of course, is muted. He might be dead, actually, as this is not a visual medium.
I should be.
Oh God, he's alive.
I should be back, but I probably sound normal. Okay, yeah, my headphones died, but that was 50. That was 50 cryptids. So if you're in a state, that's it probably has one of them.
I'm gonna title this episode "America's Cryptid Problem."
Do it.
But yeah, Jordan, I think we're going to wrap it up because even with the break, we're at an hour. It was a beautiful romp through the America's frontier of cryptids.
Wow.
You did it. You took us there.
I took the whole damn episode. Could you
didn't
imagine?
take the whole damn episode. You took us to Paranormal Town.
I took you to Paranormal Town.
Rode on your wagon.
Dang. All right. Well, it was a lot of fun. And I guess we did do a deep dive after all. Every cryptid in America, folks. I wish we could go back and know we were going to do that.
And truly, that's not even every cryptid in America. That's the short list.
Yeah.
And also,
some of them shouldn't have been on there.
Most of them were
think
Bigfoot.
If we knew we were going to go through it, we all would have had a lot more dumb stuff to say about them all.
We hit the big ones that were the dumbest, and I think that list is incomplete. We could do a better list because, as Jordan skipped over correctly, most of those are Bigfoot. Skunky,
a lot of these
Bigfoot.
are Bigfoot.
Let's take these fuckers to task, man.
Let's make our own 50 thingies.
We have the website. We have the ability to publish on the website. I paid our hosting fee this month, so they can't get us anymore, guys. They can't stop the news.
I defy thee.
Anyway, let's do our own list. This time it won't be all Bigfoot.
We're going to do our own list with, don't worry, there will be a lot of Bigfoot in there, but he'll just be in one state. And it's going to be California this time, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What was Cali's? What was Cali's again?
Boom, 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 boom. Los hombres oscuros.
Oh, that's right.
No, vigilantes oscuros. I remembered it. It's because I'm smoking weed. Oh, jeez.
You learned
Try
it while
grass.
smoking weed. You'll
Try
remember
grass,
it.
kids. You'll remember the vigilantes oscuros. Well, that does it for this cryptid-packed episode of Werewolf Radar. We hope you guys had fun. We thank you for your continued support of our show. Dark Council members, we salute you. And shout out to Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers for our intro and outro song. And shout out to you, the listener at home, for believing in yourself and getting over your crippling Pringle addiction. Is there anything else that you guys would like to shout out?
14filmfestival.com, twitch.tv,
twitch.tv/werewolf_radar. Mondays, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We play fucking D&D.
5e.
It rules. And we're closing in on Strahd.
We're closing in on him.
You hear that?
What if we don't kill him? What if he kills us?
Well, either way, we're going to start a new arc.
What if it's true. What if we just become friends with Strahd?
I think there is
help him rule Barovia.
Dude, I think there's a less than zero chance that is the end game of more than one of our characters. Until next time, as always, our not so secret sign off line from here at Werewolf Radar on the count of 3. Raider, I called it. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky. Spaceman Joe.
Also check us out at patreon.com/werewolf radar.